You destroyed my marriage, Diana accused Camilla. Camilla calmly, I simply gave him what you couldn't. The tension in the room thickened. Years of hatred were finally surfacing. Diana desperately pleaded to Charles. Am I not enough? Charles's silence explained everything. Camilla proudly watched Diana's humiliation. War had been declared. Diana had woken up early that morning and started planning a special dinner. She had the kitchen staff prepare Charles's favorite dishes and decorated the dining room with romantic candles. She was making one last effort to save her marriage. By 7 o'clock, she had perfected every detail. She wore her blue dress, put up her hair, determined to impress Charles. She sat at the table and began waiting. 7:30 came. Charles didn't arrive. Diana sat at the table, watching the candles slowly melt. She waited until 8. By 8:30, she was starting to worry. When butler Paul Burrell entered, he could see the disappointment on Diana's face. Ma'am, shall dinner be served? He asked hesitantly. Diana shook her head. Let's wait a little longer, Paul. The prince is probably busy with work. But inside, anger was building up, and she could feel her romantic evening being ruined. At 9:30, Charles finally appeared. In his casual clothes, relaxed but with a slightly guilty expression, he entered. Diana, I apologize for being late. There was an important phone call. Diana remained seated at the table, coldness in her voice. Important phone call? On Sunday evening at 9 o'clock? Charles became defensive. It was business. Unavoidable. Diana stood up and began blowing out the candles. Business? Charles, I told you this morning that I was preparing a special dinner. Understanding appeared on Charles's face. Special dinner? I forgot. Diana's eyes filled with tears. Forgot? How do you forget a romantic dinner with your wife? Charles approached, trying to put his hand on Diana's arm. Diana, it really was a very busy day. Diana pulled her arm away. A busy day? Or was your mind elsewhere? Charles tensed. What do you mean? Diana turned to him, her eyes sparkling. Charles, I'm not stupid. The change in your behavior over the past few weeks is very obvious. What change? Charles began giving evasive answers. Diana spoke as if counting. Late hours? Phone calls? Absent-mindedness? Distant behavior? Charles raised his hands. Diana, please. This is wedding stress, royal pressures. Charles? Diana's voice rose. Stop lying to me. Charles fell silent. Diana's determination had surprised him. Who were you talking to tonight? Diana asked, threat now in her voice. A business associate. Charles mumbled. Which business associate needs to talk for 2 hours on a Sunday evening? As Charles floundered, Diana could sense the truth. She could tell when the man she'd been married to for years was lying. Charles, Diana whispered, I'm trying to save our marriage. Charles nodded. Our marriage is fine, Diana. Fine? Diana's voice cracked. When did you last tell me you love me? Charles remained silent. When did you last plan a romantic evening? When did you last choose me over anything else? Diana's questions were cornering Charles. Am I not enough, Charles? What am I doing wrong? Charles approached and took Diana's hands. You're not doing anything wrong. Then what? Why do I feel like I'm losing you? A long silence followed. Diana tried to read the expression on Charles's face. There's someone else, isn't there? Diana whispered. Charles's silence was the answer. Just tell me the truth, Diana begged. Charles took a deep breath. Diana, it's complicated. How complicated? There's an old friend I care about. Diana's heart stopped. Camilla. Charles was surprised. How do you know? Diana gave a bitter smile. As I said, I'm not stupid. At that moment, Diana understood everything. The phone calls, the lateness, the absent-mindedness, It was all for Camilla. "How long?" she asked. Charles bowed his head. "Diana, it didn't start like this." "How long, Charles?" "Before our marriage, we—" Diana stepped back. "Before our marriage? And now again?" Charles was silent but had given his answer. Diana moved to the living room. Charles followed. Diana spoke while looking out the window. "I thought you could love me. I thought we could build love." "Diana?" "But you already love someone else." Charles approached. "Diana, I care about you. I respect you." Diana turned, her eyes full. "But you don't love me." Charles couldn't answer. "Your feelings for her are stronger than for me." "Diana, please." "Yes or no, Charles? Do you love me more than her?" Charles remained silent for a long time. Then he shook his head. "No." Diana's world collapsed, but at the same time she felt relief. Finally, she knew the truth. "I want to meet her," she said in a calm voice. Charles was alarmed. "Diana, no, that's a bad idea." "Why?" "Because it would make things worse." Diana looked at Charles with determination. "Charles, I've been competing with a ghost shadow for years. I want to know who this woman is, what she does, how she touches you." "Diana, arrange this, Charles. Either you arrange it or I'll do it myself." Charles saw Diana's determination. Her stubbornness made her different from the woman he knew. "Okay," he said finally. "But Diana, there could be consequences." Diana looked outside the window. "I'm already living the consequences, Charles. At least I want to know what I'm facing." That night, as Diana lay in bed, she thought about the remains of the romantic dinner. Cold food, melted candles, wilted flowers, the perfect metaphor for her marriage. Tomorrow she would meet Camilla. She would come face to face with the woman who had stolen her husband's heart. Diana didn't know how she would feel, but she was sure of one thing. She wouldn't fight shadows anymore. Diana had woken up that morning with a strange feeling in her stomach. Today she would meet Camilla. She would come face to face with the woman she thought had stolen Charles's love. At breakfast, she and Charles didn't talk much. Charles was uncomfortable. Diana was thoughtful. Today at 3 o'clock, Charles finally said, "You'll meet at a cafe in Belgravia." Diana nodded. "I wonder what kind of woman she is." "Diana, please don't try to be too harsh." Diana looked at Charles. "Are you protecting her now too?" Charles fell silent. Diana stood up. "Don't worry, Charles. I won't create a big scandal. I'll just understand." When Diana arrived at the cafe by taxi, she saw that Camilla had already arrived. She was a middle-aged, beautiful woman sitting at a corner table. She looked confident, not tense at all. When Diana entered, her heart was beating. Her marriage was in danger because of this woman. When Camilla saw Diana, she stood up. She was smiling, but there was a coldness in her eyes. "Diana," Camilla said, extending her hand. "Pleased to meet you." Diana shook her hand. Camilla's hand was warm and strong. "Camilla." Both sat down. The waiter came. Diana ordered tea. She clasped her hands on the table and looked at Camilla. "Why did you come?" Diana asked. Camilla raised her eyebrows. "Didn't you want me to?" "There's a difference between wanting and coming." Camilla smiled. "Charles's request and my curiosity." "What curiosity?" "I was curious what I would say to you." Diana was surprised by Camilla's ease. This woman didn't seem to feel any guilt. "Do you forget that Charles is my husband?" Diana asked. Camilla answered while sipping her tea. "No, I don't forget. You also don't forget that Charles was with me before marrying you." Diana's heart burned. "We were married." "On paper," Camilla said calmly. "What do you mean?" Camilla leaned forward. "Diana, Charles and I have known each other for 20 years. You met him 3 years ago." Diana's eyes filled. "But I'm his wife." "Yes," Camilla said. but he's my soulmate." These words felt like they had pierced Diana's heart. Camilla continued, "Diana, you're a very beautiful, young, and sweet girl. You're perfect for the royal family. But for Charles..." "What about for Charles?" "You're not the woman he needs." Diana jumped up. "You destroyed my marriage." The other customers in the cafe turned to look. Camilla remained calm. "Diana, please sit. People are looking." Diana sat down, but her eyes were blazing. "I didn't destroy anything," Camilla said. "You married a man who loved someone else." "Then why did he marry me?" Camilla answered with ruthless honesty. "Because it was his duty. Because an heir was needed. Because I wasn't available." Diana's heart was breaking. "So I'm just a duty?" "You're much more than that, Diana. But you're not Charles's love." Diana started crying. "How can you be so cruel?" Camilla softened for the first time. "I don't want to be cruel, but I have to be realistic. We have children." "I know. And Charles loves them very much." "What about me? Did he never love me?" Camilla paused. "He cares about you. He respects you. He appreciates you as a mother. But he's not in love." Diana leaned forward. "What do you give him that I can't?" Camilla thought. "History, understanding, shared experiences, the comfort of not trying to prove anything." "What am I trying to prove?" "That he can love you." These words shocked Diana. She really had been trying to prove for years that Charles could love her. "What about me? Don't my feelings matter?" Camilla looked at Diana with pity. "Of course they matter. But love isn't always mutual, Diana." Diana put her head in her hands. "What will I do?" "Decide what you want. A marriage on paper or real love?" Diana raised her head. "You won't give up Charles, will you?" Camilla shook her head. "No, I can't." "Why?" "Because I love him, and he loves me." Diana stood up. "This isn't over." Camilla remained calm. "Diana, this was already over, before it even began." Diana didn't look back as she left the cafe. Camilla sat there, continuing to drink her tea. When Diana returned to Kensington Palace, Charles was waiting for her. "How was it?" he asked in a worried voice. Diana looked at him. "Now I understand." "Understand what?" "Why you chose her." Charles approached. "Diana." "No, Charles. Don't explain. Now I know the truth." Diana moved to the living room. Charles followed. "I fought for the wrong thing for years," Diana said. "I fought for you to love me. But you already loved someone else." Charles sat down. "Diana, it's not that simple." "It's very simple, Charles. You love Camilla. She loves you. Where am I in this picture?" Charles couldn't answer. "I'm the mother of your children, your wife, but not your love." "Diana, please." Diana stood up. "Charles, I won't pretend anymore. I'll accept this marriage for what it is, but I won't live in the illusion of love." Charles bowed his head. Diana thought one last time about Camilla's words. A marriage on paper or real love? She knew the answer, but she couldn't decide yet what she would do. That night as she lay in bed, Diana understood what she had been fighting for, and perhaps she had to accept losing this fight, but she wasn't ready to give up yet.